Picture this. You're 19 years old, training to save lives, when a rich patient grabs your white coat and says, "The poor can wait. They're used to suffering." That moment when Che Guevara looked into that man's eyes became the birth of a legend. Buenos Aires, 1947. A cold Saturday morning in February. It's barely 7:30 a.m., but Ernesto Che Guevara is already awake. 19 years old, second-year medical student, a young man chasing his dreams. His father constantly tells him, "Become a doctor, earn a respectable profession." His mother is proud he's studying medicine, but Che doesn't know yet that this morning he'll experience a moment that will change the course of his life. Walking to the hospital, he has a small notebook in his jacket pocket. Inside are patient notes, symptoms, treatment methods, carefully kept records. Because Che is a perfectionist. He wants to do everything perfectly. Even if he has an asthma attack, even if he gets so tired he can barely breathe, he never gives up. When he enters Hospital General San Juan, the first thing he notices is the crowd in the corridor. Poor families are waiting on blankets spread on the floors. Children are crying, mothers watching anxiously for their turn to see a doctor. Some have been here since last night, because for free examination, you have to come early. Otherwise, your turn never comes. Che puts on his white coat, hangs his stethoscope around his neck. He's not a full doctor yet, but as a third-year student, he can help patients, under Dr. Martinez's supervision. Dr. Martinez, in his 50s, an experienced physician, one of the few doctors who treats the poor for free. "Che," he says, "it's going to be a busy day. Are you ready?" Che nods. He's ready. He's always ready. The first patient is little Maria, 7 years old, has a cough, feverish. Her mother looks on with worried eyes. "Doctor, por favor," she whispers. Che examines Maria, places his stethoscope on her chest, listens to her breathing. Could be bronchitis, might need antibiotics. But antibiotics are expensive. Maria's family might not be able to afford them. He consults Dr. Martinez. "Are there any free antibiotics available?" Dr. Martinez shakes his head with a sad expression. "Very few left. We save them for real emergencies." Che thinks. Is Maria's condition an emergency? Not life-threatening, but it could get worse if untreated. He decides, Maria counts as an emergency. Next patient is an elderly man, diabetic, has a wound on his foot, not healing, high risk of infection. Che cleans the wound, changes the bandage, writes his prescription. The man prays. "God protect you, doctor." Che smiles. "I'm not a doctor yet, but thank you." As the morning progresses, patients multiply. Che gets tired but stays happy. He loves this work. He loves helping people. Every person he heals is a victory for him. Every smiling child increases his energy. Maybe his father is right. Maybe medicine truly is the most beautiful profession. Around 10:30, a commotion starts in the corridor. Voices rising. Che looks up. A man is shouting, "What kind of hospital is this? I've been waiting for an hour." He's wearing an expensive suit, gold watch, smoking. His private driver stands beside him. The man is rich, that's very clear. But the most shocking thing is what the man says next.
The wealthy patient is yelling at the nurse in charge of admissions. "I'm coming as a private patient. I can't wait in the same line with these poor people." The nurse tries to explain patiently. "Señor, here the priority system is based on the severity of illness. Your condition isn't urgent. You came for a routine checkup." The man gets even angrier. "Not urgent? I pay taxes. I pay your salaries in this hospital. Get me a doctor immediately." The poor families in the corridor turn their heads, looking. Children get scared. Mothers pull their children closer. That's exactly when Che approaches. White coat, stethoscope, young and full of ideals. When the man sees him, he immediately walks toward him. He grabs Che's coat, pulls it roughly. "Are you the doctor? Examine me immediately." Che tries to stay calm. "Sir, I'm a medical student. Let me try to help you. What's your complaint?" The man gets more irritated. "Student? I don't get examined by students. I want a real doctor, and I want it now." Che tries to be diplomatic. "I can call Dr. Martinez, but he's currently attending to an urgent patient. If your condition isn't urgent..." The man cuts him off. "Not urgent? I'm Rafael Dominguez, owner of the biggest factory in this city. My money keeps this hospital running." The silence in the corridor tightens. Everyone's listening now. Poor families avert their gazes. This man has money. He has power. Maybe he really has the right to priority. Maybe these are the rules of the system. But you haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. Rafael Dominguez takes another step closer to Che. His breath reeks of cigarettes and cheap alcohol. His eyes are swollen, probably drunk last night. "Listen to me, young man," he says, pressing his finger against Che's chest. "In this world, everything has an order. The rich come first, the poor come after. That's nature's law." Che's jaw tightens. He makes fists with his hands, but controls himself. "Señor Dominguez, in medicine, the only priority is the severity of illness, not money." Dominguez laughs with a contemptuous voice. "Not money? This hospital runs on my taxes. These doctors' salaries are paid with my factory's contributions. Who are you to lecture me?" And then comes that sentence, the sentence that would change Che's life forever. "Cure the poor after me, son. They're used to suffering." 8 seconds. The time from Che hearing that sentence to giving his response was only 8 seconds. But these 8 seconds changed the course of history. Che looks into Rafael Dominguez's eyes, a deep, analyzing look, as if trying to read the man's soul. Then he starts speaking slowly. His voice is low but hard as stone. "Señor Dominguez, the first thing I learned in medical school was this: disease doesn't discriminate between rich and poor. Death doesn't recognize money. And as a doctor, even though I'm still a student, I will never prioritize any patient based on whether they have money or not." Dominguez was surprised. This young man is standing up to him. "Are you threatening me?" Che lowers his voice even more. "Not a threat, a promise. If I ever become a real doctor, I won't examine you until I've seen my last patient, because that last patient suffers more than you do." These words that came from Che Guevara in 8 seconds shocked everyone in the hospital. But the person most shocked was Rafael Dominguez. He hadn't expected such a response, especially from a 19-year-old student. Dominguez's face turned bright red. Do you know who you are? I'll make one phone call and have you expelled from this hospital." Che shrugged. "You can have me expelled, but as long as I'm here today, the turn belongs not to you, but to that crying baby in the corner." And at that moment, something changed, not just in Che, but in everyone in the corridor. Poor families straightened up. Children stopped crying. Nurses smiled proudly, because someone had finally told that man the truth. You won't believe it, but the most striking part of this story is just beginning. Rafael Dominguez complained to the hospital after that day. He tried to get Che expelled, but Dr. Martinez stood behind his student. "This young man is doing what's right," he said. If you expel him, I'll leave this hospital too. The hospital director was in a difficult position. Dr. Martinez was one of the hospital's most valuable doctors, but Rafael Dominguez was also a powerful donor. Finally, a compromise was found. Che would receive a warning, but wouldn't be expelled. But for Che, the real change began that night. Walking home, he kept thinking about that sentence. Cure the poor after me, they're used to suffering. This sentence stuck in his head. He couldn't sleep for nights. The following days, he continued going to the hospital, but now he looked at his surroundings with different eyes. He listened to poor patients more carefully, spent more time with them, treated them more attentively, and he noticed that these people really were left out of the system. A month later, Chet told his medical school friends about that day. Do you know, he said, that man was right. The poor really are used to suffering, but this familiarity isn't natural. It's a familiarity imposed by the system. His friends didn't quite understand. What do you mean, Ernesto? One asked. I mean, Chet took a deep breath. Maybe the problem isn't just treating patients. Maybe the problem is treating the system that makes them sick. That night at home, he started reading Marx's books. First out of curiosity, then with passion. Every page he read reminded him of that moment in the hospital corridor. Rafael Dominguez's arrogance, the helplessness of poor families, the injustice of the system. 6 months later, Chet told his medical school friends, I'm going to become a doctor, but I won't just treat patients. I'll also treat the sick system. In 1948, Che advanced to the third year of medical school, but he wasn't just reading medical books anymore. Marx, Engels, Lenin, he was studying revolution theory, researching social change. In 1950, while in the fifth year of medical school, he planned to tour South America by motorcycle with his friend Alberto Granado. Actually, this plan had emerged from that incident in the hospital corridor. I want to see the real face of South America, he had said, not just the hospital in Buenos Aires. During that famous motorcycle journey that began in 1951, Che saw the leper patients in Peru. He examined the conditions of mine workers in Bolivia. He talked with poor fishermen in Chile. And everywhere he stopped, he remembered that moment in the hospital corridor. Cure the poor after me, they're used to suffering. This sentence followed him, and every time it made him angry, because Rafael Dominguez existed not only in Argentina, but throughout Latin America, with different names in different countries, but with the same mentality. In 1953, he finished medical school, but didn't become a doctor. His family was shocked. Why, Ernesto? Why are you giving up after working so hard?
His answer was clear. Because treating individual diseases isn't enough. The social disease needs to be treated. And from that date on, Che Guevara's story is known. He went to Guatemala, he supported Jacobo Arbenzi's revolutionary government, he encountered the CIA coup, he fled to Mexico, he met Fidel Castro, he joined the Cuban Revolution, but he never forgot that moment in the hospital corridor. When the revolution succeeded in Cuba, one of the first things he did was establish a free healthcare system. No patient will be discriminated based on their money, he declared. In 1959, after becoming Cuba's health minister, he said in a speech, years ago, when I was a young medical student, a rich patient told me, cure the poor after me. That day, I understood that what really needed treatment was the sick system. Che's words spread from Cuba throughout Latin America. Young people heard this story and were inspired, because Che had shown them this. Sometimes a moment, a sentence, a decision can change your entire life. Rafael Dominguez didn't see the end of the story. He died of a heart attack in 1955. But that sentence he uttered in that hospital corridor started the process that made Che Guevara one of history's most famous revolutionaries. So I ask you, Is there someone like Rafael Dominguez in your life? Someone who tells you, think of the poor later, accept injustice, the system works this way. And most importantly, do you have the courage to respond to that person like Che did? Because sometimes history isn't changed by great revolutions. Sometimes it's changed by a few words spoken by a 19-year-old medical student in a hospital corridor. Sometimes by saying no to the system for the first time. Sometimes by standing on the side of what's right. Che Guevara didn't just confront a patient that day. He confronted a system. And this confrontation made him a legend. Which system will you confront?